Top of the morning, family. Top of the morning. It is now 8:13 or 13 minutes after the hour in the morning right here on the East Coast. Let me throw on my one of my gunner glasses to block some of this energy. Yes, and of course you see the title. Of course you see the title. I must do better. I gotta start broadcasting more on this channel. You know, how you feeling out there all over the world? I hope everything is well. And I just want to share some insight. Today in America, of course, is 7/16/2022, which equals 2045, and 2 plus 4 plus 5 is 11. So today is Universal Day 11, which also adds up to the lower frequency, which is the number 2. So this is a very good day for people not only born on the 16th, because today is the 16th of the month. And do remember to get my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, a numerovational guide for those, guide to recognizing instability and staying motivated. Now, what I want to share with you from my book about the number 16, and anytime you go into any of my books, especially the latter ones, like the last one that I have, anytime you go into my book, you can actually read, although the number 16 is pertaining to that the person's born on the 16th of any month, but also one way to use numerology. And when you read numbers like 16 or from 1 to 31 or master numbers, however, you can actually apply certain meanings from that particular number, especially in my book, because I try to write it in a way that you can also use it, not just for the person born on the 16th or the people born under any particular number, but I try to make sure that it's also relatable to the day that might show up. It's also relatable to the person that might be connected to the number 16, whether it's through the name, through the birthdays, through the life path. And of course, we know 1 plus 6 equals 7. So in my book, today being the 16th of the month, all right, and in my book, I said the number 16 is a symbol of spiritual victory and or defeat, depending on its physical use in this realm. The number 16 is the vibration of creativity, balance, love, and spiritual insight. In other studies of this symbol, the number 16 is the number of cosmic consciousness. The number 16 is the number of cosmic consciousness. So wherever 16 shows up in your chart, and not the 7 yet, but the 16. So let's say people like, okay, Strutting Peacock, who's up here. Strutting Peacock, got to remember that being born on September 7th, the 9 plus 7 equals 16. So Strutting Peacock, alignment or achievement or pinnacle number is a number 16. And in certain systems of numerology, the 16 is known as one of the karmic numbers. Karma meaning that it can go either way. So when you look at that particular alignment number in a good book like this, or achievement number, Numerology for Decoding Behavior by Michael Brill, very good book to have, but it talks about the 16th karmic number, and it gives its positive and a negative. And he says in this book, he says The karmic challenge number indicates the possibilities of catastrophe or loss if the person goes against an intuitive prompting or tries to maintain control. The number also carries the characteristics of -1, 6, and 7. So remember, people born on particular numbers or have certain alignment numbers, you got to remember that if it adds up to a number, let's say the number 16, like 9 plus 7 equals 16, you also have the negative of 1, 6, and 7, which I've said before, even before I read this book. And the achievement number, so all of it is an achievement number according to him. I call it the alignment number because that particular addition is the first numbers that align you to what you need to do along your life. That's why I call it the alignment number. Michael Brill called it the achievement number. And in other more older systems of numerology, they may call it the first pinnacle, which is the first pinnacle of guidance in order to align you to what you need to achieve. Pay attention. So when you add the month and the day, that is called the first pinnacle in certain system of numerology. It's called an alignment number in what I call it the alignment number under Numerovation. And Michael Brill calls it an achievement. So the first pinnacle is that first pinnacle of your life when you add the month and a day that helps align you with what you need to do in order for you to achieve. That's why it can be used pinnacle, alignment, and then achieve what you need to do. Very interesting on how you use that. It's all about telling the story. And that's what I use. That's how I do it with Numerovation when I do Numerovation sessions. I help to tell a story of the mathematical frequencies because, again, as I've said over and over again, it is applied mathematics. And if you learn to apply the numbers connected to your birthday, connected to each aspect of your birthday, even the month you're born, that is another aspect of a cycle that's a part of that alignment or pinnacle number, that number 9. So where a person born in the 9th month, they should always strive to complete what they start, always strive to stay on a higher level of accomplishment, always strive to be a reflection of their highest and wisest self. Because remember, whatever 9 adds to, because it's 9 and 0 are very, very positive, powerful numbers, where 0 is the feminine aspects that all masculine and feminine comes out of. Masculine and feminine numbers come out of. And 9 is the masculine aspect with a feminine flow line, so to speak, because 9 is shaped like a circular motion. That 9 deals with the feminine aspect. But some system of the flow line, you might have the feminine aspect of the circular motion with the line straight down. So that also creates the balance depending on how you look at the number 9, depending on how you draw the number 9, pertaining, especially dealing with cultures and all that, you'll find there's a flow line with the number 9. But getting back to the 16's pinnacle, alignment, and achievement, Michael Brill says in his book, this number also carries the characteristics of -1, 6, and 7, achievement numbers. With this number, a person will have a tendency to follow his head and not his heart, to rationalize, intellectualize, and justify. He or her will try to figure everything 100 different ways from Sunday. His biggest anxiety or her biggest anxiety is not getting it right and being blamed, embarrassed, or humiliated, and then abandoned for his or her perceived lack of value. So people with that 16 alignment number has to be very careful of how they either overthink things, which leads them to anxiety. Then they end up blaming themselves for what did not accomplish and what was not accomplished. So numbers are not here to control you. It's here to give you a reminder of guidance if you take the guidance on what to do and what not to do. So in the positive of this quote unquote karmic number, the number 16, which is today, it says, in his book, it says, someone who provides a unique service to humanity by creating new paradigms with the information he or she receives from the source. That's all he says about that. The positive of someone born or connected to the number 16. Now, I want to go live on my IG because I need to go live on IG because I might not come back up here and do this again. You know what I'm saying? I need to go live because I'm going live on only on Numbers Are Simple right now. But I want to go live on IG. Please forgive me. I'm going to go live on my IG also, so people can get this right now. Right now. So we gonna make it happen on IG also. So those that are on Numbers Are Simple, my YouTube channel, and big up to everybody that just came on to my IG. I'm talking about the energy and the vibration of today, the number 16. And like I read, if you get my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, remember, my goal with this book is to motivate you mentally. That's why it says numerovation for mental stability. Big up to those coming on IG. I am on IG and on my metaphysics YouTube channel, Numbers Are Simple. I started on my Numbers Are Simple metaphysics channel first, IG. So if you want to get the first part of this, you can go there. But I pinpoint, I go straight and direct to where I need to go because remember, this book was released in 2020. And why I released it in 2020 is because 2020 adds up to a number 40, and 4 is the prominent and dominant number after it's all added. And 4 is one of the main mental health numbers in my book. After I've studied the patterns, cycles, and sequences of these different numbers over the years. Had to release it in this book, and also livicated to two great friends of mine, male and female, who took their life, and they was born under the number 13, which 1 + 3 is a 4. And that was just very telling to me. And of course, having it in my family, that number 7 and those number 4 shows up a lot. And why certain people went through mental issues. My own mother went through a mental breakdown, and her alignment numbers are 7. She's born April the 21st. And when you add 4 + 21, that equals 25, which is a 7. So sometimes people connected to the 7, 16, and 25, if they don't maintain a mental discipline, which I very much promote in this book. If you're born on the 4, and according to my studies of patterns, cycles, sequences, steps to dealing with the vibration of numbers in this particular book, I go directly to the root of the problem, the root of it. And like I said in my book, this is not the is all or be all, but it's the beginning path of understanding why you need to keep on the higher vibration of your numbers. That's why I give the positive and the negative, and you try to manage your weaknesses in this realm and strengthen your strengths. That's the important part. So even if you're born on October 24th, like this person just put up there, 10 + 24 equals 34, which is a 7. But do remember the lead numbers that it adds up to when you equate it all, because some people might just add it across 1 + 0 + 2 + 4. That is a newer way, according to ancient numerologists. That's more of a newer way to add. But when you add the month and the day, that equates to a number 34. And the 3 and the 4 and the 7 is to be looked at. 3, 4, and 7 is to be looked at, where there's not like the number 16. 16 is different than 34, although that it adds up to the same number 7. 25 is different than 16 and 34, although it adds up to the number 7, because you still have the vibration of the 2, 5, or the 1 and the 6, or the 3 and the 4. So once you understand how to get it in, oh, bro, these numbers will work for you like living your life like it's golden, living your life like it's golden. You be living your life like it's golden once you understand the mathematical moves and frequencies of your numbers to guide yourself. So remember, the first powerful numbers that, and all of them are powerful, but the first powerful numbers that gives you certain guidance is the month you're born number. And then when you add the month and that day, that is the first pinnacle that helps align you to what you need to achieve in your life. I'll say that again. The first power number, where some people might say the first power number is the day that you were born. But when it comes to doing a session with somebody like me that's here to motivate you or numerovate you to take you to the next level, if you're willing to put in that work, you got to understand the month is very powerful. The day and what it equates to is very powerful. That's why in older numerologists or people that's been doing it longer than me, that's the first pinnacle. And then, of course, there's a second pinnacle, there's a third pinnacle, there's a fourth pinnacle, there's different pinnacles, and then there's challenges when you start subtraction. So if I subtracted, let's say, go back to a strutting peacock's birthday, if I subtracted 9 plus 9, I'm sorry, if I subtracted 9, take away 7, which equals the number 2, the challenges of her early parts of her life that also goes along with her pinnacle parts of her life would be a number 2. So it tells me that she was very emotional. A lot of things really irritated her or made her cry when she was younger. Those are sensitivity parts, being sensitive. At her early age, she was more likely a crybaby or somebody that cried at every little, if somebody yelled at her wrong or screamed at her, she would cry. That's the first challenge of her life. That's how deep it goes. And she's saying yes, because she understands that's her life. But I'm just looking at the challenge and the pinnacles. Her pinnacle is the 16, which is a 7, because 9 plus 7 equals 16. But the challenge when you subtract in numerology is the number 2, because she's born 9 plus 7. But if you subtract the 7 from the 9, boom, there it goes. So yeah, take my course. You need to take my course, people. My course is a serious course, and it's 8 hours. It's an 8-hour course. But once you pay for it, it's yours. It's yours to learn. And I don't call anybody my students. I call you my participants, because you have your own particular cycles that you're going to live out for the rest of your life. I have my own particular cycle. So whatever you are living out within your life is something that you have gone through. You have to learn and study and apply for yourself, but you will recognize the base truth and honesty of the vibration of the number and its interpretation. So my 8-hour course is only $333 this year. It's going to go up to $444 next year. But once you get the course, it's two links you get. Once after you pay, I usually send it to after you circulate the money, because you're not spending money. You're not spending money. I don't believe in spending money. I believe in circulation of money. So the more you circulate is what you get back. So if you circulate with the funds, what you get back is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through what you're going to be learning, because I'm giving you something in exchange, which is 8 hours of my time, PowerPoint and chalkboard breakdown. And I'm showing you books along the way. It's a raw, uncut course. And if you want to do a payment plan, you let me know you want to do a payment plan. You want to pay, let's say it's 333 divided in 3 installments. All right. But you don't get it until the last installment. divided into 3 installments, that would be $111. Boom. Tell me you want to pay the first installment, pay the second installment, pay the third installment. Boom. I send you the link. I send you the links, and it's yours to watch over and over and over until you become a numerovator like myself. Because I want to build a nation, not somebody to follow me, but I want a bunch of individual people that's willing to interdependently work with the universal order of things with their family and everything, to be numerovators, using numbers to motivate your children along the way, using numbers to motivate your nephews, your nieces, your daughters, your sons, your family members along the way. That is because I'm not going to be here forever. I took what I learned from Lloyd, the astronumerologist, and created something out of a hybrid form of numerology and motivation, put them together, call it Numerovation, and then we move forward. Then you move forward. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. So don't be afraid to take the class. Don't be afraid to take my course or pay for my course. And I mentioned books like this. Of course, I mentioned my book. I mentioned all that kind of stuff. But I go through it, like I said, I go through it chalkboard, PowerPoint. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. Both on IG, both on my YouTube channel, Numbers Are Simple. I didn't put it on King Simon Presents. I want to focus more now on putting more of the metaphysics, like numerovation, astronumerologist, tarot, all that kind of stuff on this channel, the Numbers Are Simple channel. But for the King Simon Presents only quality people, those are the people that I interview more. I don't really want to drop full numerology stuff unless I'm interviewing another numerologist like a Lloyd Strayhorn or a Jackie Levine, which I've done, or Kaya French or Brandon Smith, those people that are in my circle right now, and any other numerologists. I do want to work. I do want to interview Sister Ya Numbers. She's doing great work in her numerology. I also want to interview one day Trina. Trina also is a Trina numerologist. She's a numerologist. Also, I see Bradford. I say T.S. Bradford. I want to definitely interview her and how they apply their numbers from their perspective, because it is a perspective, although they are interwoven. No matter which system you come from, whether you're coming from gematria, or Kabbalah, those are other higher esoteric, but I try to keep things simple, because if it's simple for you, then you'll be able to use it for yourself. Simply you will be able to use it for you. I'm military. When I say military, I've never been in the military. I come from a father that was former Marine. I have 2 sons. One was a former Marine. One is still in the Army today. I have military family. Uncles was in the British Army and all that. But I always remember, keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, soldier. Keep it simple, sister. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Because once you can teach and guide a child, see, a child ain't going to get into Kabbalah and all that yet. You got to give them the 1, 2, 3. You got to give them the A, B, C. Michael Jackson sang it. A, B, C, simple as 1, 2, 3. Do, re, mi, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Baby, you got me. That song at that time touched not just children, it touched adults that resonated with 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, because all of us was taught 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. We was all taught do, re, mi if you was into music. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, fa. If you was into music, I was into music. So I was taught that in music class and when we had music classes. So it's important that even music is mathematical. Before Pythagoras discovered we was doing music, we understood the mathematics of music. That's why when you had people like Coltrane design that whole mathematical frequency of music and symbols and all that, that was some powerful ish back in the day. So on this note, family, I'm going to get ready to close out. I didn't want to stay up here too long, and I came onto IG. IG, if you want to get the beginning of this, where I spoke about the number 16, using this book and using my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. This one is called Numerology for Decoding Behavior. by someone that used to work for NASA, used to work for the government. Why does the government understand and use mathematical applications from a human perspective to a universal perspective? He calls his numerology cosmic numerology. That's what he calls his system, cosmic numerology. I call my system numerovation, because my wholehearted premise, go back and I already said what it was. Michael Brill. Go Google up Michael Brill. Michael Brill. Look up Michael Brill. Michael Brill numerology. Go look him up. He got numerous of books. All right, so my whole premise and my whole thing is to make sure I teach it from a simple perspective. Wherever you want to go with it, that's up to you. You want to study the Kabbalah God, my brother A.A. Rashid, and how he teaches it, go teach it. Go learn it. If you want to study Blue Pillar and how he teaches from the resonant energy of 44, all is relevant. All of it is relevant. It's just different levels. I try to keep it simple, so we don't have a bunch of people thinking so deep and then not accomplishing nothing. You could have a bunch of deep people in a room and still the room wasn't painted. They didn't furnish the room. Nothing was done to make it more suitable and comfortable. Like if you remember Black Panther and his father when they came to talk to Black Widow, he said, and Chadwick, a dear friend and dear martial arts companion of mine in the dojo, he said, you can do more. We can do more than I think 100 people in one room, and you can do more with 2 people in a room than 100 people in a room, something like that. And then the father came in and said, unless you have to move a piano, you gotta use a little bit more people. But I understood that concept. Sometimes you don't need a whole bunch of people to make things manifest. Sometimes you don't need a whole bunch of people to make things. Sometimes it's you and your loved one, you and your partner, you and your husband, you and your wife can make things happen. Y'all make things happen by making children. Y'all have children, one comes out. Have another child, another comes out. Now you're making things happen. That's why sexual energy is so powerful, because sexual energy and having sex with somebody is not just about, especially when it comes with the purity of the balance of the male and female, it's not just about enjoying sex, because many of us have enjoyed it unless you've been, hurt or molested or, violated, but many of us have enjoyed sex. But sex is not just for procreation in the physical realm, but it's also procreation in a manifestation spiritual realm. And I'm working on having my brother come up on Rick the Healer, from the Black Tantric group in New York. I'm going to bring him on, y'all. If y'all watch me on my King Simon Presents, I'm going to have him on, and him and his group, the Black Tantric New York group, to North Carolina, be laying the law, just like Adara, just like the Master Yao himself. I've had them all on. And if you want to learn how to manifest through sexual energy, then you need to learn how to use tantric energy, and how to not just about feeling good, but taking that energy to manifest some land, manifest a house, sit with your woman or your man with intentions to manifest. While you're speaking, even if you're just sitting inside, sitting and holding each other and breathing and talk manifestation energy and abundance to each other, where the woman might say to you, manifest greatness. And you might say back to her, manifest abundance, or I allow, I am, I this, I that. Learn how to use the manifestational energy of the sexual energy. I can look at a woman. Big up to Zakia, who I had a long conversation with her, with a private conversation with my dear friend Zakia, who I've known her family since I was young. You know, I had a long conversation. Beautiful sister, beautiful body. I can look at people like her and like, I can take that energy that I'm looking at and use that energy and manifest something because I take her energy or learn how to use her sexual energy or her sexual powers by just how she look and how she presents herself. And boom, I can create my own world. And I did that in the club life. In the club life, I did that. I took the beauty of women in the club and we use the beauty of women in the club. That's why we'll have ladies free before 11, ladies free before 1 o'clock. And that's going to attract the men that want to see these ladies because the ladies are the magnets. The women are the magnets that draws men in. I did that. You know what I'm saying? I did that in the club for years because I watched my own father do it. I watched my cousin who took over the promotional and DJ realm of my father. I was born in a nightclub setting. The year I was born, my father opened up a nightclub and boom, I was learning about sexual energy through nightclub stuff since I was a child. Since they brought me down to the basement of my grandmother's house that they turned into a night lounge and party. And he had it packed all the time with nurses and doctors and entertainers was coming down to this lounge. So I know how that energy can be used. You know what I'm saying? I know how that energy can be used. So if a man looks at you, or if a woman looks at a man, and she is divinely connected with her feminine energy, the male energy or the masculine energy should not be offensive to her. Just like when a man looks at a woman, the feminine energy should not be offensive to her. It should be complementary to her. It should be a healing energy in its purity, because male, masculine, and feminine is supposed to heal and complement each other. That's the beauty of it. Just like the number 16. 1 is a masculine number, and 6 is a feminine number. And when they come together, it makes a 7, which is a spiritual number. It's a number of manifestation through meditation. So both the male and the female got to learn to meditate with one another in order for them to manifest the greatest part of each other in what they want to accomplish in this realm. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I'm broadcasting on IG and on YouTube. So forgive me if I'm looking certain ways. I'm looking at both IG and YouTube. King Simon Productions on IG and Numbers Are Simple on YouTube. So you got to learn how to use the energy. And I know there's certain women that gone through some stuff and there's certain men that went through some stuff early in their life. But do not negate the male energy, sisters, and learn to use that male energy. Go connect with a male energy. And brothers who went through some ish, go connect with a female energy. And it doesn't have to be sexual. Sometimes it's just for the healing. Sometimes you just need to sit and talk to that male energy, or you need to talk to that female. You know, yesterday, this is personal, but yesterday I was in my feelings after looking at my mother on the ring. And because how my mother was raised in Jamaica, it affected how I was raised, because how she was raised was torturous in a sense, and her sisters also was going through, because my grandfather, he had a heavy hand. He was, I don't think he was sexually abusive, because I never heard none of that. I heard certain uncles that married into the family were sexually abusive to my mother and certain people. But my mother was raised by a heavy-handed father who was born on the 9th of September, Virgo. You know, they want order, they can be very hardcore, you know, especially that 9 energy can be very hardcore. Military, he always was dressed neat and all that. And I don't think my grandfather was in the military, but I think he was, you know, he was a contractor. So, you know, there's times that you couldn't whistle. In their time, back in the 1930s, going into 40s, they couldn't whistle. You couldn't talk back. Like my cousin said, and I had to call my cousin because I had tears in my eyes, and said to my cousin, I said, look, I love my mother, but I don't like my mother. And y'all might say, ooh. And she brought it to head. She said, a lot of us misconstrue the love and hate. She said to me yesterday, while I was in feelings, because I seen my mother on the ring, and I just said, I love this woman, but I just didn't like her ways and how she raised and how she took some of her father's way, because she was not raised with her mother and father. My mother was raised only by her father and my aunts. And they were rough too, because they was raised a certain way in Jamaica. There was some old school blood clot Jamaican, some real, if you whistle, come into the house, they smack the ish out of you. If children are supposed to be heard, are supposed to be seen, not heard, that was their premise. That was their thing. And remember, they're coming out of a lot of war in Jamaica. They're coming out of a lot of war in Jamaica. When I say coming out, their father's father was coming out of a lot of, the Maroons was fighting the English, and so they was coming out through a lot, especially when they try to get colonialized and all that kind of stuff. Jamaica had to settle through treaties. It wasn't that they was conquered. Jamaica had to settle through treaties because those Maroons were hard to deal with. There was some hard mother effing Africans from the original land so that is so deep. So I'm talking to my cousin, and my cousin been through the same thing. And this is the same cousin that when I was young, her and my other cousin fondled me, but it wasn't a sexual thing. It was an abusive thing because I ate their food, and they just stripped off my clothes, start swinging me around and all that kind of stuff. As a child now, I'm a little child, just because I ate their chicken. And they was young teenagers that was ego driven and all that. But then when we did try to resolve it, my cousins told me that they were molested and fondled, and then their mother's mother was molested and fondled. So this cycle goes on and on and on if we don't catch it and nip it in the bud. Listen, we gotta catch. So I said to my cousin, I love my mother. No doubt I would kill for my mother and die for her, but I would kill first. I'm not just about dying. I'm gonna kill first. I went to jail once for fighting for my mother against 5 to 7 police officers. Went to jail once for that. So, and that's why a lot of the women in the family will never tell me if some man abused them, because I'm that dude. As much as I smile and I'm, yes, sir, yeah, ha, 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 laugh and giggle, I don't like women in my family getting hurt, because I know where they come from this hurt. I'm that person. I'm that person. Knife in my mouth, climbing up on the car to come and cut you. And then I'm out, taking my knife, wiping the blood off, and I'm out. That's that person I am in my spirit, because I know my ancestors were those Maroons that used the machete. I know those. So when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes to the women in my family, they don't tell me stuff. Because I recall, before I get back to the point, I recall something happening to my sister, and I felt that I couldn't protect her because we was little children, and the guy that was trying to put certain things on us, trying to manipulate my sister to do sexual acts at a young age. He was a bigger child, but he was big and broad, and I was scared. I was frightened. Although I tried to tell my sister, "Yo, we got to go. We can't stay here." We was little children. But he insisted, because myself and his sister got into, so he forced me and his sister to get into something. So because he wanted to do something with my sister. And my sister brought that up. One of my sisters brought that up. So when we did move from that area, we moved from that area around, I was the age of 9 and she was the age of 7. Moved to another area around Clinton Hills, Fort Greene, right there in the intersection. And somebody did something disrespectful to my sister at school. Some smacked her on the ass. I was like, by that time, I was like 11, 12. Yo, this dude, when we ran up on him, and I didn't want none of my friends to touch him because I had only two guys, two ride or die brothers with me when we was young. Big up to Sylvester and Eric Plaza. Sylvester Watson and Eric Plaza. Sylvester Watson Jr. and Eric Plaza. Had 2 ride or die brothers with me. And I said, yo, I heard you touch my sister. You smacked my sister on her ass. And I'm still Mr. Smiley. My teeth are still smiling. Mind you, I'm still smiling because everybody know me from when I was young to now. I'm still Mr. Smiley. So I look at my friends like this. And when I turned this way, I went like this. I smacked him. Bop! Then I smacked him again. Bop! Don't you ever touch my sister. You don't see me touching your sister. I've never smacked your sister on her ass. I never did this to her. And I was telling them at a young age now, I'm like 11 or 12 years old. And I double smacked them. Bop, bop. Backhand and front hand. And from that point, he never touched my sister again. Ever touched my sister again. Ever. I don't know how he was handling women after that, because that was a young age. That was my young age. I must have traumatized him. Hopefully I traumatized him not to touch women like that again. But I know at that young age, I wasn't, I didn't like seeing women in my family get hurt or molested or fondled or beat up or whatever. I didn't like that. I just didn't like that, because I had uncles that was crazy and all that kind of stuff. And, that I really respected and found out that they was molesting and doing foolishness too. And I'm like, I don't like that. Don't like that. So again, family, I know I'm saying a lot, but it's important that you learn these numbers will reveal through the objective interpretations. Numerology is not subjective, it's objective. These objective interpretations, it will give you a guideline. And then I do suggest you get an astrology chart by someone you trust. I do suggest you do tarot or cardology with somebody you trust, and it's very important. It's very important that you do that. Personally, I've had to apologize to women I may have hurt, maybe because they liked me or maybe because I was with a bunch of friends. And I apologize. Every time I run up, I see them. If I see them, I apologize sincerely, even if none of the guys from the past in junior high school didn't apologize, because all of us was the same age. It wasn't no pedophilia stuff and all that. It was all the same age. When, a girl may like a guy and then he didn't really like her, and then he might want to set the girl up for rape and all that kind of stuff, or running a train on. I thank the Creator for this sister that I'm renting this house from until buy this land and all this stuff. I thank the Creator for this sister, because 30 something years ago, she seen me following her cousin down the wrong road. She seen me following her cousin down the wrong road. And because she was so outspoken, that the Aries that she is, I always loved that about her. But the Aries energy and the number 8 energy that she was so outspoken. She started arguing down for this sister that he wanted to get a train ran on back in our high school. All of us was the same age. No. But she was so vulnerable to him that boom, she almost got, but this sister saved her life. saved her life of going down that road of that prostitution and all that kind of stuff. And I apologize to that sister because it almost happened to her. And I'm happy that this sister that I'm living in this house with, after knowing her for almost 40 years, she talked some sense into me not to follow that road. Am I perfect? No. Was I a womanizer? Yes, I was a heavy womanizer. I had 7 women for each day of the week. I had 7 different women for each day of the week. And I don't look like Tyson Beckford. I don't look like Maxi Priest. I don't look like, y'all used to talk about Shabba, and Shabba had more women than dirt. But he was disciplined enough to marry one woman and have his children. Shabba ranks. Ninja man. Imam over 26 picnic. But that's a whole different. And they don't look what they might say handsome, but there's something that's appealing. Something that's appealing to us, to the women out there that made them love Shabba or Ninja Man or Beanie Man and all that kind of people. And Beanie Man is a handsome dude, but we from that Jamaican breed, we come in that hardcore, dark skin. We are set with a blood clot una deal with. We come with that. I don't come with no soft voice. I'm like, what's up? This is what it is. We focus here. I come from that stock. Me and Shabba born the same year. Me and Kipperton born the same year. Shaggy is like a little year, he come from the lighter skin crew. But Shaggy is raw with it too because he come from our stock. Shaggy is raw with it too because he comes from our stock. That's why in Germany or wherever he was cussing out those people. And I gotta talk on that because me and Shaggy went to high school together and we used to, in the car with Sting International, go into recording studio to go and record certain dub plates and all that. He come from our stock. So we don't take bull crap that easy. So if you come in to take off our instrument off the stage and all that, we're going to tell you to go suck your mama and suck your mama and cuss out your blood clot and do this and say that and say this and that and dare you to do it because we going to back it up. And Shaggy come from that stock of bad boy. I'm telling you, when I say Shaggy's the real deal, Shaggy's not no joke. Shaggy's a real deal. He'll bust your ass with some stuff. He former Marine, trained in the streets. I'm just saying. That's why if you've seen that viral video of him cussing out the stage hands because they trying to take his time and all that kind of foolishness, he may have went overtime and they do those things. But he come there. Once you come there with a certain show, you don't want to go until that show is finished. And I totally understood. And a lot of people disagree with it. A lot of people, and I had to say to them, I know I'm getting off the point. I had to say to them, Shaggy and I and many others come from a life of being disrespected as reggae or dancehall artists. Because back in those days, reggae and dancehall was not respected as it is today. It was not respected as it is. I mean, they used to end in our day. They used to end parties with reggae music. That's when you knew the party was finished and it's time to go home. They would play soca, R&B all day. Let's say they play R&B and hip hop all night. And when the party was ending is when they would play reggae music. And that's when people are heading out. How the hell are you going to play One Love and all the good stuff, Bob Marley and all that stuff, and then boom. It's crazy, but I digress. I know I done went into one. Now those stories are going to be in my book now. When the late bell rang, that's going to be in my book. That's my autobiography now. Autobiography and essays of different things and different parts. So a lot of that stuff that I'm telling you right now is going to be in my book, but it's going to be just much more because there's always more to it. But I enjoy everybody that came on my live on YouTube at Numbers Are Simple. And thank everybody for coming on my live on King Simon Productions. Hey, Marcia Wagwan, And I'm looking for illustrators for children's book. I have one that I'm having in mind. Big up to Marie Carmel. I'm looking at her as one of my illustrators. I'm looking for people that know how to read books also. You get paid a flat fee to read the book, voice over the book. You know, Marcy, I'm thinking about your voice because I do love your voice. Great interview with the actor the other day, by the way. I was checking that out. Marcy, I love your voice. You're somebody that I could lay down and listen to. There's certain women now, naggy women with naggy squeaky voice I can't listen to. But women women, y'all got to get your energy back to that, because your voice, that chakra can actually soothe a man into doing everything you want them to do. Yeah, really, women don't have to yell or scream. I had an auntie that never had to yell or scream, but she can convince you with the soothing tones of her voice to do whatever she wanted you to do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, that was my auntie, and she's still alive. She's like 91 now, 91, 92 years of age in Canada. But that was my auntie, and she's been through her abuse too, which is crazy, but she still kept her elegant poise, her voice. And what's so interesting, let me tell a story before I end that one. Y'all remember the movie, I think the recent movie of Billie Holiday. My aunt was in that movie. She was in one of the club scenes as an older lady. And the way she got that part with Lee Daniels, it's a Billie Holiday movie that was produced by Lee Daniels. I don't know what the name, I did watch it, but I can't remember. But she's in a quick scene and got paid for it. She was an extra. But Lee Daniels met my aunt, my grand aunt, which is really my mother's cousin. And she was on the set just chilling. But Lee Daniels loved the way she spoke. She had that Jamaican articulate, but not raw, dirty blood clot Jamaican, not like that. You know, like when you have no cussing off all kind of clot and all that. My aunt always had that eloquent, singing, healing voice. And he heard my aunt just because of her mannerism. She wasn't supposed to be in the movie, but because of her mannerism, she was in a wheelchair in the movie, sitting at one of the tables, watching what was going on, and she got caught in the fray and got paid just to be an extra in that scene because of her style, her grace, and her eloquence. Lee Daniels said, I got to put you in the movie. Lee Daniels, born December the 24th, which is ironic because my aunt is born December the 15th. 1 + 5 is 6. 2 + 4 is 6. So they automatically gelled and connected. So big up to Aunt Sybil all the time. She's still alive and well. And anytime my cousin go around there and I get to call and talk to her, she's hard of hearing right now, can hardly see due to glaucoma and all that kind of stuff. But my aunt, that was the soothing voice. And her favorite song is Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. She used to sing that to us as a child. Those memorable moments is what brings healing to my heart. Remembering those memorable moments. Those moments. And sometimes we have to go back to those memorable, good moments as a child and bring that child back to the forefront. Bring those children, because sometimes we leave those children, that child, in the trauma instead of going back to the most happiest, memorable, euphoric moments. Forgive me. But I just remember that. And that's what keeps me going back to my most memorable, happy childhood moments. That brings back that happiness. And you got to take that happiness and then expand that happiness and keep on going in life. Those happy moments, and there's been many of them, and most of us have gone through more happy moments than traumatic moments, but in this society, it takes, according to their study at MIT, in this society, it takes 16 positive to knock out one negative. That's why you can be in a loving relationship with a woman or a man, and then if you smack her once, or you call the cops on him once, that trauma is the one that they hold on to. That trauma is what they hold on to. It takes 16 positive to knock out one negative. So on that note, family, I close out. I thank you. If you do want to book a session with me, text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. I do have a waiting list, but if you're patient, it'll be well worth it. If you're patient, it will be well worth it, because I'm about numerovating you to be your best, not your worst. I'll look at your worst and tell you about some of the ish that you got to be careful of, because we look at numerology as more objective. We're going to give you a positive and negative. But if you're open to it, if your heart, mind, and all your chakras is open to it, it can guide you to be a better you, so you can go forth and do the necessary work that you might want to do with other people. You know what I'm saying? So my number again, 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. When you text me your full name and date of birth, you'll get all the details. You got to text me your full name and date of birth. I only do 30 minutes. I don't do an hour, because many of you, if not all of you, can't even handle the 30 minutes. That's why I record the session. You get to ask me any amount of questions you want within the session, and then move forward. You get to listen back. Thank you for putting that on the, I'll pin that. Thank you, I am, for putting that up. I'll pin that. Did I pin that? I didn't pin that. I pinned that comment. That is the number. You text me your full name and date of birth, 347-496-1022. I'll put it in the description bar over here. Let me put it on YouTube also, 347-496-1022. Be willing to bring your child energy back, man. Be willing to bring your child energy back. I just pinned it on YouTube also. Be willing to go and get that child. Go get that child. Go get that child, because it's that child. That joyful moment of your childhood is what's going to help you carry you over the various humps. Okay? I love and respect you all. Stay focused. Stay healing. Stay on your healing and growing journey. Take care. Peace out.